Yay! All right, welcome everybody to the Peasants Podcast. I hope you're having an absolutely lovely start to your weekend. We are sitting here with some of the best legends in the game. Firstly, let me introduce them. On my left, the lovely Lady Ponce. Welcome, Lady Ponce. How you going?
Hi. I'm going
Hi.
good. Hope you are too. Hi.
I'm going absolutely fantastic. And the PvP Deviant, sitting across from us, Mr. Undead. G'day, buddy. How you going?
Howdy, howdy, hey. I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm going well. And on our right, dressed by the famous Noah DeKeck, Mr. Q. What happened on your drunken evening last night?
Well, I don't know, but certainly can't call me a fuck this morning. That's for sure.
No, that's it. That specific designer, Mr. Noah, has come in and dressed our lovely Q. Mr. Noah used to be on the podcast, but his life pushes you around. Is now stuck in the servitude of working. So we'll see him in another 60 years or something. If we're still here.
Yeah.
Still talking about when are they going to get a game going, if we're going to get the devs on, and those usual topics that we bring up.
It's the Peasant Podcast. We're having a blast with the dayZ community, so take a seat real fast. Server owners and coders, content creators and streamers, showing off the community with all their features. Issues with updates, someone's mistake, new things they added, angry players it makes. Get in chat, voice your opinion, you're the community, we wanna listen. It's the Peasants Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the dayZ community. The greedy peasant, the host of the show, with over 12,000 hours, dayZ is all he knows. Let's introduce the panel, it bring the show to life. From the community, they'll get me in strife. Chat moderator, queen peasant, player and server admin Q. Server owner, coder, streamer, Lady Ponce, streamer and PvP enthusiast, undead gamer. Server owner, admin and coder, Redden. It's the Peasant Podcast. We're having a blast with the dayZ community, so take a seat real fast. Get in chat, voice your opinion, you're the community, we wanna listen. It's the Peasants Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the dayZ community.
Right. To crack into it, we haven't lined up our new and updated servers. So what we're going to do, we're going to compile all our server events and for the month and put it in a short video with a little overrun. That way it's the same for the 4 weeks and you get a large coverage. But I think today is the event, or it'll be later on tonight. The Massive Girls event, the free run. Let me see if I can find that. I meant to mention it last week, but what it is, it's a all girls run from the Survival of the Streamers Discord. they have put together or organised a multitude. Downloads. There it is here. A multitude of cross platform collaboration where they have put out a run for the ladies and gentlemen to get out. So for the Xbox guys, it is on natural selection. So yeah, if you're one of the ladies, you want to hook up with some other streamers, go for a run, connect. Definitely a good opportunity to get out there. It's happening on PlayStation. It's happening on PC. I was banned. I couldn't go as Nurse Greedy. But what they don't know, they can't stop me if I don't talk. But yeah, get out there and check it out. All right. That's all.
Also, I do believe today is the start of season 10 HXC.
Season 10.
Whoa, season 10.
Season
Wow.
10.
Oh, damn.
Amazing.
HXC is a survival server that has been in the game for a very, very long time. They throw a unique style of hardcore server, allowing you to expand the whole crafting style and survival style of dayZ. Definitely worth to get out there. Big shout out to Mr. HXC Adventures. We've had him on the show recently. Lucky bastard got to go to the dayZ land and taste the sweet nectar out of a rusty well. Rightio. So who we got in the chat today? Bobby in the house with Ramekin 7th and 8th. Number Wang. The great Ray Ray news. Yeah, apparently Uncle Ray Ray's coming back into the stream.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I got a Discord for you. If you want Mr. Q, if you want to go check him out. But that's pretty cool. Lady Ponce in the house, Mr. Undead, appreciate the sub. After what called the devs. But yeah, welcome to the podcast. Today's subject, we're going to be talking about the proposed loot changes to the loot economy. We went for a run last week on experimental after they fixed it all up. And, you know, ran basically the full length of the course, starting from the coast and moving all the way up to Tizzy. Also searching a couple of helicopters and some of the big events. So the dev team have put out changes to the loot economy in the current 1.29 experimental. The changes revert back to the OG loot economy. High tier was rare. Map movement required to find supplies. Low to medium tier geared PvP encounters. And a struggle for new players to get the grips with the game and survive. First of all, why did it all originally change? So, the loot economy has changed since obviously release at 1.0 on console. With the impact of dupers, gear players on the coast and new players, dayZ changed the loot. So high tier was available for all survivors. So they put in temporary servers. They put in no longer count on map parameters on like M4s and things like that. But they also boosted loot in general to aid in finding the gun or gear. The effect was there was no inland action, or very, very rare, and all the action being on the coast with PvP and interactions being the main draw. Only since the restricted areas of new loot has inland been populated, plus with the updates to aid the anti-glitching like duping, etc. Players need to follow the tracks to the high tier areas. The loot system that has been proposed currently on experimental is very similar to the OG way. The The question I have today is, will we see a return to the chaos that occurred during the early periods of dayZ? I know you guys have played for quite a while. And I know we've had a run on experimental. Do you think reverting back to the old ways, the OG, having to scavenge for loot and fighting for every second, is the way the game needs to go?
I think so. I found it actually really enjoyable last week. It was quite refreshing. Almost was complete different play style.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It did feel like you were having to seek and carry on every step of the way. I mean, I had an M-lock from basically shoreline to pistol to Tizzy. So Lady Pods, what do you think? Do you think the early chaos? I mean, you didn't come into dayZ till later on, so you missed out on a lot of the 1.00 chaos. How did you find experimental when you came for a run?
Bit weird.
Yep.
I don't know, to be honest. I like those boots that Q had on. They were weirdly cool.
Weirdly cool.
Literally look like cow's hooves or something.
They were the new fur boots.
Yeah. I thought it was like, you know, a lot more loot around, so like you could get a lot of different things. I don't think it's as, I don't know, to be honest, because like, is that going to be official soon? Is that what the experimental's for?
It's so the gear that's coming in, the new items, that's all for 1.29, but the loot economy is not yet confirmed. They basically threw it out there to test it for the players and see what the feedback would be.
Well, I was just going to say, if it's going to be official's going to be piss easy, isn't it? Because I thought, like, I found a lot of stuff that I wanted, like, really quickly. So
yeah, nice.
So I just, yeah.
Yeah.
As I say, massive fan of them boots.
Survival supplies, food and things were quite easy to find. It was the guns, the ammunition and things like that, you know, it was on a lower tier of what we usually had.
Yeah, it's I still find it easy. I find official easier and easier, like the more I've been on it, and I haven't been on it as much as anyone would think. So I'm a community girl. Always have been, always will be. I like to support other servers and stuff. Like, go and play them.
Yeah, 100%.
At the moment, I'm taking a little break from RP, feeling a bit burnt out at the moment.
A bit cooked up RP.
Still chipping away at the tickets at Second Dawn. Like, I'm still staff on there. I'll still always help them out. But yeah, I've been playing PvE.
Nice.
In the middle of building a base on a really good server. So yeah.
And it's funny how
with a few people.
And it's funny how being a community person, you find official a lot easier, because a lot of the servers you play are loot grinding. Yeah, that is.
Oh yeah, like me and Hamster were we were playing on Unwritten RP last night, and their loot economy is so sparse. Whatever you find, you're picking it up, even if it's something stupid like a motorbike helmet, you know, because you won't see that again, or
Yeah.
it'll be like a really long time unless you get into an RP scenario where you're going to take that helmet off, John down the road or something. But like, so yeah, like some of the servers that I do play, which are RP orientated, obviously because it's a survival, they take it right back to, survival games, the way it's supposed to be, and their loot's quite sparse, so you have to literally grind at the games as well as obviously hashing out some good RP as well. Like
Yep.
it sounds a lot, but it is great. It's great fun if you're new to it. You'll have the best time of your life, but the more it goes on, like you do end up a bit like a bit burnt out and stuff.
Yeah,
So as I
100%.
say, I take myself away from it for a week or so, go and play a bit of PvE,
Get
take
out
off
there.
the facade I've put on of a character, and go and play the game that I absolutely love and adore, but in an easier environment.
Easier environment where everything's just handed to
Yeah.
you,
Yeah,
spoiled.
Mhm.
that's the one thing that I've never actually jumped in and played is PvE. I think it's the only game
Oh,
style
dude.
I haven't done yet.
I
Come
do
and join my
find
server queue. I'll send you an invite.
I do find a lot of PVEs max out the infected, and it's a lot harder to grind through. Hey hamster, how you doing? So I think PVE servers actually play the game dayZ in the survival sense a lot better than any other server.
Yeah. Yeah, like when I had my PvE servers, not only was I teaching new people how to play the game, how each thing works and what you can do and stuff. Like I only had like hordes of zombies where all my good loot was. So it was more of a fight to, get the good stuff. And like I remember taking one person to, go and have a little look at. I think it was in Riffy. I had like a lot of good stuff spawning there, because it's in a gas zone, and this person just literally died instantly just because they didn't have the gloves on. They were in the pocket, and I was like, oh no! So obviously then I had to show everybody like how to dress and stuff, and we got some good loot out of it, and there was loads of zombies around. It's crazy.
Well, that's like Hamster said, love me some PvE for survival and just relaxing on the game. Good for when you want to chat with friends without the worry of being shot.
Yeah.
PvE player horde like crazy. Yeah, well, Mr. Very Silent Bob, the Bomb Mob, have a PvE server, and they run a very, very good community over there.
Yeah, I've played Bob's PvE server on Xbox. It's amazing. It's good fun.
Yeah, and once
I think I
again,
met like
it's that loot grind that
a few
keeps the
people.
player interested, and maybe that's what the devs are looking at with this loot changes that are going on currently in 1.29 is a good grind, the way to keep players active and keep players motioned. Undead, you've played dayZ for the longest time. You've been in the early things. Do you think going back to the early chaos of the OG 1.0 days is the right move for the dayZ loot economy?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I because I remember the old days and I remember just how scarce shit was.
Yeah.
But I also remember getting I remember when it was a legitimate firefight, Like you didn't want to waste bullets. You didn't want to like there was more interaction, but at the same time, I'm stuck on the fact that I like to just go and grab the good shit. But I don't know. I'm 50-50 with it right now. I'm gonna be honest.
But you do make a good point. It wasn't 6 mags full in your backpack to be able to rush every freshie on the coast with a full burst of ammunition. You know, it used to be stages where, I've even still got footage of it, 6 or 7 of us trekking through and we each got guns, we've got about half a dozen bullets each, except for you who grinded and had the machine gun, but once again, only a couple of mags, and that's why he decided to blast us all down. The greatest moment in console cold history.
Oh, that's what it is. That was a dayZ server. Yeah.
No, that was
Yeah.
official. That was official. But we had trekked for 5 or 6 hours. You had come down from Northwestern Airfield after grinding yourself. But yeah, you do make a point. Less bullets means a lot more interaction because people are going to, maybe try and talk their way out of the situation. Or the situation where you do try and go for the one shot fuck up and then you got to explain your actions.
I mean, right now my current kit though on experimental, like it is a lot more scarce. Like the guns you get are very how do I explain it? It's they're not good all rounders either. It's not like having an AK and an M16 and shit like that. I got a VS98 and a Scorpion.
Shit.
Like, I'm sitting up in the van Petrovka right now, just like, how the fuck
Yeah.
supposed to make this work?
Well, I think that whole run we had, we were running around Tizzy, and I think the best we had at Tizzy was what, a SKS.
Yeah, I had a shotgun and
Can't
a
remember.
Glock. So
Shotgun
Well,
and a Glock.
yeah, to fucking tizzy.
Was it until we?
The guy had a Derringer.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of refreshing to run around Tizzy and not just find, M16s everywhere and SKSs everywhere.
Yeah,
it was actually a grind.
All
That's
the
kind of good. I mean,
go.
the only downside of it that I could see is it's going to push a lot of those players that are playing just for the PvP, push them away from the game possibly. A lot of those little sweats.
That's it. The ones that like to gear up and look fat. Yeah, 100%.
Who needs them? 90% of the time they're killing Coast.
Well, and this has always been a big debate whether the PvPers are good or bad for the game. The danger of getting shot, I think, when you're out and about, running around, hugging tree lines, etc., is one of the great fears in dayZ. I think that's part of the drive of the game, knowing you could get fucking picked off at any 2 seconds. Bob said dayZ is like a gambling addiction. It gives you a payout for searching for stuff. How many times do you get a rush from finding a leather kit? Fuck, it's right there. They're so sparse, ecstatic. I love when I go, I'm just going to check this house because I have a feeling and I find exactly what I need. 100%.
Oh, she does, she really does.
Yes.
It drives me nuts.
I'll check this
Because
house.
she's like, yeah, I'm really hungry. I need some food. Then she literally comes out with a buffet to feed 10 players. Honestly. And you're like, dude, I've been looking around for 3 hours and I've literally found a pepper.
Streamer loot, 100%. It's hamster magic. Spaz says, with duping such a massive problem, does it really matter what the loot economy is? Yeah, I think they've got dupins. I think the loot economy now count as dupin. You can find everything you in the game if you want to go and look. And I think that's a big part of why they've put the loot economy to where it is now. Whether that goes back to how it is a different story. See, Spaz says there, personally I don't go in half the buildings because I know there won't be shit in there. See, where I'm the opposite, I tend to check buildings that people don't check. So the little three-story apartment styles in most of the cities that have the second room, there's plenty of times that they have rewarded me. Plenty of times. Or climbing that ladder on top of the little market on the roof, plenty of times it's rewarded me. I think my problem is I know if I don't go and check it, I'll miss out on it. It'll be there and I've walked away.
Yes, that's the.
Oh,
Now,
it depends on me.
Yeah, go.
The loot's if I'm running with a team, if I'm like I'll hit what I know is reliable. I'll hit the main urban buildings and actual landmarks in a town. But if I got the time, if I'm playing alone and just have time to loot, I hit every single building.
Yep. Yep. Because the randomization of it, you really don't know what you're going to find. Missing those buildings are sometimes detrimental. There's plenty of times that people have skipped buildings and I've seen what they've wanted in the building they've skipped. But that is an interesting point because there are some buildings that are fast looting and there are some buildings that take a long time to loot. And you tend to sometimes skip, apartments in Livonia. There's one or two spawns. Who loots the tower in Novi? The giant tower. When's the last time that you looted that?
So
That
God, I
doesn't
don't think
actually
I ever
spawn.
have.
Yeah, it's not an official anyway.
No.
Yeah, so
I like the smokestack in Vibor. Every time I go there, there's always a barrel. I don't know whether someone puts it up there or it spawns up there, but there's always a barrel.
always a barrel up on the, and that's the the other changes that they've made currently is they tried to put levels in the loot system where the higher you climb and the taller you go, the better your loot is. Now on that first update run, it worked perfectly, but since then I've been on Livonia, Sakau, and Chinaris, and every time you climb anywhere higher, it's just the same stuff.
Yeah.
So that sort of matrix has sort of fell apart, or I suppose as they tinker with it and try and get it more and more into line of what they want, it'll be a lot harder.
Yeah, the one thing that I was quite disappointed about experimental this time around was, and it's the same issue that I had with all of the Sakau things, is the new items that are coming in that we can't look at on experimental because they're locked to Sakau.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't just flick them and then put everything like, okay, I can understand changes in this X, Y, Z, blah, 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 but I can't understand why they don't just flood the server with all the new items and just have all the new items.
Yeah,
I mean, it's only fucking clothing.
Well, that's the whole point in having experimental was so we can test the items. How do we know that on Xbox we don't put on like the heavy military jacket and it like clips through the clothing or doesn't sit right, you know?
Yep.
We're not going to know that until it hits Sakau update.
Yep. And then it's out and about. It's only up to their testing that we're ever going to find if it's right or not. You make 100% fucking point
Yeah,
that,
and
that
we know what their testings are like.
yes. We saw by the very first start they released it like console, like PC, and it destroyed the loot economy. Completely fucked it. I don't know what PC loot economy works like, but Jesus Christ. That's all in the fucked up.
It was indeed.
Spaz, yeah, they talked about in Sakau about loot economies being elevated, so climbing on top of high buildings into crates, into cranes, would give you better loot, and on that update, you saw it. You would go down to the military area on the shoreline of Sakau, and there would be field jackets on top of crates. There wouldn't be high accessible guns, but there would be field jackets. Locked to Sakau to artificially inflate server numbers. The clothes are old mods, been on PC for ages. Yeah, 100%. They're not old. Well, the clothing is because it's all Windstriders mods. Yeah, but
I just don't agree with locking items behind a paywall. I really don't. Unless,
Nah.
because I've seen this many times. The amount of people that only play official aren't going to buy Sakau could possibly never have these items, you know? And I just don't understand how that's good for the game.
yeah,
Well, it's not, is it? It's
No, it's good for their bank account because they think that that's got to help push people to buying the DLC. In all actuality, it's not.
and it
You know,
hasn't.
just because you add some more clothes or add something different, people aren't going to go there to buy it just for that.
No. And what do you think would be the push on Sakau for people to flock to it?
Have events. I've said this all along, like they did with the anniversary event, with the fireworks and the spotlights. Bringing in an event like that, but it's the volcano erupting or something, I think you'll find a shit ton of people will start pushing over for it.
Fuck oath. That'd be sick. Especially if it covers the briefcase. You know what I mean?
oh yeah.
Or that was the eruption, and then that's when the briefcase is available. Because it sort of killed the scientist or whatever's gone out, and then you come back, you then wait for the mountain to cool and get out there.
That would be a really good idea.
Yeah, I think that's where they dropped the ball when it came to lava. It was one of the most exciting things that I was looking forward to. Like the ability to be able to just put a stick, sitting there, watch your temperature go through the roof, to put a stick next to the fire to be able to light it off it so you got a match.
But not only that, I don't know why they didn't like fill the top of the volcano with like the hot springs. You know, so you walk into it, you're gonna die instead of just putting a couple of hot rocks around.
Yeah,
I just don't understand why they didn't do that.
Yeah, that's even another good point. Having a melted glacier, a steam bath glacier. And even do the same erupt thing where it does fucking nothing. You know what I mean? Just make it bigger. Lava rivers to break up the map and travel routes, 100%. Maybe are not very creative for events. Yeah, not very creative for events. Tire fire, laugh out loud. Yeah. Oh, tire fire events, for fuck's sakes. 12-4 events. Spaz, I'm trying to read your
Imagine
couch.
putting like
Your couch typing.
You'd be able to use like smoke that people put on smokestacks on. That'd be good coming out of the volcano.
Yeah, in a massive scale.
Mhm.
Even like um Mr. Project Lemons did with the original Sigoria when um Cammy was blacked out. Now, the reason, but the story behind that was because on the hill there was a forest fire and the smoke was blacking out or making Cammy permanently dark, or at least shaded out. Sort of stuff would be sweet to be able to walk into one of those towns and it's, that stalker vibe where it's, dark and a lot of fog, or, you know what I mean? Even the smoky areas, low lying smoke happens during the bushfire areas. So why isn't it pumping out volcanic? Or even the introduction of using the toxic environments of a volcano in the actual map, needing the MBC suit.
Hmm. No, that's a good point too. Why didn't they create like a toxic environment for the top of the volcano to get to the briefcase?
Mm. Like, even a pyroclastic flow where it's just gas and ash and, you could, when it erupted, you could get in there without uh, uh, you could get in there without being hurt against the the flow with the MBC, the white one. You could even have it on the thermal scale if you really wanted to. Where it has that extra thermal protection. Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. But no tire fires. Yeah, there was definitely a mixed outrun with those tire fires. I would have preferred.
Also, the tire fires were supposed to be for the Warburgers event, right? So instead of bonfires, they were having tire fires on Sakau.
Yeah. But the idea of
Weird.
the event was to have those bonfires with the witch on top.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, they put scarecrows on it, didn't they?
Yeah, well, it's known as Boogeyman in the files, so it's their representation of what they take off from Warburgs. Yeah.
The scarecrow.
They certainly make some very weird decisions at Bohemia sometimes.
Yeah, I find that it may be a different cultural side, or if we look at dayZ United, especially the first one, they brought 10 of the top survivors over for a camping trip. That's what the devs are right into, that survival style camping. They've all been through the military because that's part of the thing over there. So, you've got to really look at dayZ from that sort of perspective, rather than what we sort of look at it, where we see it as the survival style. They would go to the military run. We were talking about this on stream on Tuesday about, who would actually survive in a zombie apocalypse. You're talking about, your doomsday preppers, your people like that, but you're talking like special forces, and if military was disbanded, platoons basically going to rescue their families and then starting civilizations where they would just, work as the family knit of the platoon like they would be, work in a unit, and these people would just rule the world.
Yeah.
Corporates with the money in the early days hiring mass security firms, keeping people safe with the promise of that sort of thing. So, we see it as everybody is on a level playing field. We're jumping into dayZ, but really and truly, it's the military people, the special force, the people who can lay in a bush for 3 days with a sniper rifle, waiting for their target, getting eaten by ants, living off the sweat that they droop during the day, and not having a problem with it.
Ew.
They're the ones that are going to be left at the end to start the new world. So, and that's, I think, a lot of the mentality that the higher ups and the devs roll, because that's the way that they were culturalized in that background military style. So
I mean, when you think of it like that, a lot of their decisions do make a lot of sense if you're looking at it like that. Yeah.
yeah, about how they put their gear on, how they understand the weaponage, the flow of the game. It was one of the things that I sort of, clashed in on over the last couple of years of, where the perspective is coming from, and it is culturally military, because they would. You fucking imagine them guys. They probably got, stores of guns somewhere ready to go. They're just, they're running their simulators every week where they play their game and upgrade it and kick it in.
Well, that's it. And I guess
If I've got
we
a
seem to
stash
forget-
somewhere.
Yeah, that's
we
it.
seem to forget that at Armour and dayZ, at its very roots, was a military simulator before it was a game.
100%, and a decent one for its time, especially in the early days.
Mm.
You know what I mean? The where the mod come from, that Armour era was just explosive of what you could do and how popular it was and what people were doing with servers. And I mean, it was once again basic on the graphics and stuff like that, but it still had that pure gameplay, the interactions, the fun. So yeah, it's just, and that's maybe where they're bringing this new loot economy in. Allowing the people who have grinded to be the power weapons. Because you've just grinded for 4 hours and got a M4, do you have the right to go on and murder everybody and anybody?
Fucking A.
What about you, Lady Ponce? Do you think if you've done the time, should you be able to let loose and be at the top of the peak?
Let loose the top of the peak of what, though?
So be the top dog or the alpha and just walking the coast, laying people out. No regrets, no real big. You're going to get the freshy wall
What, in
coming
real
at you.
life?
No, I'm talking on the game.
I was just going to say. No.
Walk through the
'cause
streets
that's-
smoking everybody.
I don't know, to be honest. I think I don't know. Depends what people are like. I mean, if someone runs past me and just calls me a bitch, then yeah, they get laid the fuck out.
So if they insult you, they then can die. But if you're just cruising, but it
Yeah,
will
if I'm
mean.
just cruising and they need help, then yeah.
But it's more the fact
help,
of,
stop and help.
if you're geared up on the coast, you'll become the biggest target in the planet. You'll have to.
Oh well, if I'm
you'll have to
geared up
survive.
and I've got my Tundra and my Winchester rounds, I ain't walking the fucking coast. I'll be in the tree line looking at the coast.
Oh. I mean, for someone who's more experienced in the PvP world, Mr. Undead, what would the geared up Undead be doing once he's fully geared? Will he be coming back to the coastline or be hanging around in the inlands? Do you think it'll spark more inland fights or bring back the times
I
of
would
like,
be-
you know, Gawker or VMC used to rule?
Oh, I don't know. For me though, personally, I'd be rocking inland. Like if I'm looking for a fight, I want to fight somebody who's got like killing him is gonna get me shit instead of oh cool pear and a bandage. Um,
Hey, look, I might be hungry, all right? That pure bandage could be important.
yeah, but the guy with the plate carrier and the AK, he might be rocking so much food. um, I do feel like it's gonna make those areas though a bit more hot again. Like some of those uh higher tier military is gonna end up getting just with the necessity of bullets and not having long rifles. Like I definitely stick around the military a bit longer. I think
Mm.
instead of just doing my quick sweep.
Yeah, doing thorough runs through all the military chains like we used to. We used to go and pick up, you know,
Yeah.
the little outposts and stuff like that, rather than just hit the big areas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well, I mean,
even with that, I feel like that'll drag more PvP in though. Like for Northwest Airfield, those higher tier towns, especially more construction areas too for the base builders. Like people are going to be fiending for that type of gear or whatever they need. So I definitely think inland is going to be a bit brutal. But you might also just have those guys where it's like, I don't have a bullet and I don't want to shoot you because it's just going to get me killed. So,
Yeah. Yeah. The coastal spark of the gunshot and everybody run to it as freshies, knowing hey, that sounded like someone with a M4, and everyone rushes to Berenzino, kills themselves instantly to try and get the spawns.
yeah.
well, I mean, the way that it's
Feral.
playing at the moment, is it going to be, oh, there's a shotgun in Berry, let's race that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Because, you know, we didn't find much of the shotgun run through. So, you know, it'll be people coming back to the coast to fish and try and find some of the canned food because it was sparse inland. You know, food was an issue
Yeah, it
being
was
inland. I mean, for us, it was no problems. We could hunt and do that sort of things. But if you're used to, or even as a new player, just not understanding you can hunt and fish, you know, grabbing the gear, dying due to hunger and thinking, well, I need a heap of food. I'm going to race inside, get some food, and then come back. Or go and get some gear and then come back to the coast where there is food.
Well, did you know that's what I used to do? Like, I'd literally, so when I first started playing dayZ, like, I started playing with like a big group of people and we were on a PvP server and I got thrown in at the deep end. This is where I like uninstalled it 7 times before I got into it. So my friends always used to have to come and pick me up from the coast because it constantly died. But that's what I would do. Like once I got more, once I learned the map a bit more, I knew what I was doing and where I was going and stuff. I would literally F11 in the base after I put all my stuff away, so it didn't despawn. And I would run down the coast and get literally loads and loads of foods, whether it was fruit, tinned foods, fresh food like peppers and stuff like that. Pinched some pumpkins out of someone's garden once, and ran it all back to Viable. And like one of my friends was like, "What? Why do you keep going to the coast? Like, what are you going to the coast for?" And I'm like, "Well, that car tent ain't gonna fill itself full of food." And he was like, "Is that what? Is that why? Like, it's so full of food because you keep going to the coast?" And I was like, "Yeah." So they said, "You do know that you can hunt and fish?" And I was like, "You're joking." And they were like, "No, you can actually like kill." I must have been playing it 3 years, Greedy, before I figured out that I could do that.
And that, because you can survive like that, and because you can work out the reasoning to be able to get that sort of system going, I think that's a lot of the reasons why people get deterred from playing, because there is no, you can go and hunt this, and this, like in the actual game. I think the experience of getting into dayZ and diving into dayZ, but I think a tutorial, like most games, where they're like, not walk forward, look up, look down, blah, 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 but, here's a little gun, go and shoot the animal, go and cut it up. You can hunt, there's it gives you half a dozen buildings to show you where the loot is and where to look for loot. It can be hidden here.
Well, that is a good point, because a lot of the newer players that play, you always hear the stories of, well, I spent my first 5-10 hours just dying on the coast of starvation or thirst.
100%. And it's one of the biggest things we've heard. We hear that since we've been running this show. Is those new players come in, they look for streamers to help with the tutorials.
It's like we found a few weeks ago. I think it was the first time that I've ever heard someone that just stumbled across dayZ. They hadn't found dayZ by watching content creators or anything. That blew my mind away. Because how many players nowadays do just find the game without having influence?
Yeah. Just this is new on, PlayStation Plus. Oh, this looks all right. This is like, what is it? Zombie of survival horror. Cool. We'll jump into this. And it reads well and it sounds friendly, and then you get in and you just get abused by players and tortured and bashed and you think, thank fuck I didn't pay any money and it was free, so I'll continue to play it. Yeah. That's dead on. The biggest question is what is the ideal loot system for dayZ? What should it be? Should it be hand everything to you? Should it be specific items in specific areas? Should it be everything just scrambled and you just got to search everywhere to find anything?
Well, that's the thing. I did kind of like the way it was before the second update to experimental. Like that whole flip around of the loot economy and finding things absolute random places was actually kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I agree, because we didn't know where anything was. And if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, when experimental first come out, you'd find hunting in houses and, building supplies, fire in the police station, those sorts of things. Amy says, it's why I feed people whenever I'm running, I'm solo running. I like turning unfriendly folk friendly and finding new players who are dying via starvation. which is you know it's how um, um, I suppose that's how a lot of people expand their friendships and you know gain people is sometimes you both of you starving your ass off and you share a chicken or something like that. No, if it handed everything to us, it would be boring. I want it to be random and always changing. 100%. Space says, not just basic survival. There are so many mechanics most players don't know about. Even vets. Uh, random loot rules. I do like random loot. You know, I do think the dayZ loot economy is too specific. You know, I can understand having things grouped, but you know, there's a lot of things that I don't see that should be placed in. The Magnum, for instance, should be spawning in the police station. 357 in general should be spawning in the police station. It should be one of the majority things that used to be. 357 used to rule the streets. It doesn't have to be the Deagle, which is a little bit more high tech, but you know, you're talking about a 6-shooter, 6 shots. It's 25-meter coverage. It never jams. It'd be picked up all day long, and they're cool, you know, fights. The amount of times we used to sit there on, you know, 357 ways to die, and the shootouts that we used to have on that. Because of the difficulty level of the guns. It used to be so much fun, and still gets, you know, quoted to this day. By the way, it's coming back for a 3rd run.
Hell yeah.
Oh, when's it coming back?
I saw Mr. Last dayZ in my Discord, and his servers light up about bringing them back. Especially Cops and Robbers, 357 ways to
Yes,
die.
cops and robbers. Oh my
Cops and
god, I
Robbers
missed
is
that server.
hilarious.
And once again, Cops and Robbers.
Me.
You're looking at not high tier deathmatch. You're looking at SMGs versus SMGs, except for Greedy's Mosins in the towers. That's, you know, it was good scuffs.
God, I
So,
missed that server.
and you know that low tier fighting on an even par between players is good fun. Desperate fighting. You know, when you got your BK-18 and you're trying to run circles, trying to reload it for that, it's because you missed the first shot. I
Or in
think
Q's case, the second,
the
third, the
fourth.
and then red screened.
He was the
Yeah.
only person I know that could run out of bullets on a BK-18.
That's it, and have a 20 star. But I love those fights. That's the, I don't know. I'm not as big a fan of the just come around the corner and drop 40 bullets out of an M4 or an M16, or you know, they're exhilarating because they're high end and you're risking it for the biscuit. Usually because you're fully kitted and you're versus a fully kitted player, but you know that scrappy coast, pistols, reloading, things jamming, end up throwing the gun at the person and just biff on anyway. I enjoy those fights more than I enjoy the big ones.
And I think that's part of great. That's what, you know, the devs are trying to bring back is that low mid tier PvP, which is, as I say, is a lot more fun. It lasts a lot longer.
Mm. Spaz says, love the idea of never knowing what you're gonna find in a building. Looting is awesome when it could be anything. 100%. You know, back in the early days where you used to be able to find Mosins in towns, you'd find a Mosin and you'd be fucking, this is the greatest. You're on fire.
No, it's not.
But these days, it's no longer like I used to find Mosins on top of the markets and find Mosins in the houses of Cherno City. That's why I do that coastal run, because of how many I used to find. And then something like that, you now feel a lot more secure in, Cherno.
That actually brings up a point that I found when we were playing experimental the other week. Is have they killed low to mid tier hunting? Is fishing just gonna be the way to go? Because we only had pistols and light weapons. That's gonna be super difficult for hunting when you get low to middle map.
Yeah, for the early stage, we were iffing and butting about, you know, um, whether we're going to shoot somebody or shoot a deer to be able to eat.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I was at that stage, I only had a pistol. I think only one of us had a shotgun. I say Spaz agrees. Yep, coastal beef is better than high end. Mr. Shower Joe, hello, good sir. Hope you're going all right. But yeah, that's definitely going to be one of the interesting ways that if the loot economy does come through, whether or not it'll be detrimental or beneficial for the new player. If we've got kind people like Hammy who's, kicking around feeding people and is happy for the interactions, I mean,
Oh,
the content
she's an
around,
angel.
yeah, but the content around that is always good. You can always get a good, content for, TikToks and stuff like that. So,
Well, to be fair, you only have to watch her TikToks to see the most weirdest of things. She's really good at making videos for it. Like, me and her were playing a game called The Finals, and I threw it like an incendiary bomb at it, and it just burst into flames. And I just threw it and ran and thought that, I was just being stupid. But she's actually made it look so good. And like, I didn't even realise that it hit her.
so we got video evidence of you attacking other players.
Only
Banned!
Hammy. Only Hammy.
Banned!
Me and Hammy just we like doing that to each other because it's fun. No one else though.
No one else. Spaz says major cities should have better loot. PvP in urban areas is completely different gameplay experience. I definitely agree. There's not enough loot in major cities or a draw to major cities. I think there's too much of a draw to military. I would like to see something in major cities be a draw to the player. Hammy says, yes, I just love interaction, good or bad. She is so mean to you, 100%. Slap her next time. I would never, I'm innocent. Hamster, innocent.
I wouldn't even mind on that game we were doing the training portion. So we could get a bit better at the game.
Spence says, put helicrashes on high-rise rooftops in major cities. Yeah, I'd like to see an events in that sort of thing and the apartments being used. I'd like to see what Project Zomboid does, which is like a survivor apartment or a survivor house, where it'd just be one of the random houses boarded up, It's filled with, you know, a little influx of infected, because the survivor didn't obviously do his job, and you know, in there, it's you know, a better quality of loot in there. It's the risk and reward. And said Shoujo, I just eat snacks and hide. But I don't think there is enough activity. I mean, the police situations, I think a lot of them need to be based in a large major cities, especially on the coastlines. I think people would hunt them more. I think Berenzino become active. I think Electro become active. Cherno become active. Those sorts of things would be, you know, beneficial for players. You would get a lot more action. You would draw the gear guys to those particular areas. Chef Palette. I think any long-term player will be able to adapt to any changes 100%. I enjoyed the patch. Made me work a little harder and smarter. It should always be hardcore survival experience. That has been definitely the consensus today, that it was a little harder and smarter to play. And it actually was a little bit more rewarding. I did find that I spent, you know, a good 4 hours not wanting to get off. You know, it was only that I had lawns, that I had to go touch grass, technically, that I had to actually get off before the storms came in. Just move the events. They have been in the same spot for years. Would take a day. I don't know about that. I don't know if they should move the events, especially the helicopters.
Yeah.
I think they should not
Well,
make
that would,
them.
yeah.
There you go.
Moving stuff would change a lot of loot routes, and one of the biggest things for them is developing decent loot routes. But
Yeah.
if you start messing with major events and where they are, it'll just mess up the whole loot system, and then we just get Sakau all over again.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because the helicopters aren't as positioned as they should be in Sakau. Sakau, I think they should have once again used that South Island and maybe some of the outer islands for helicopters rather than just a little patch. Yeah. No, that's a good response.
Yeah, I
That
do
true.
think.
Yeah. Yeah, go kid.
Yeah, I do think fishing is far too overpowered now. Far too overpowered,
Yeah.
especially for beginning game when it's supposed to be real difficult. It's pretty easy to survive. Don't have to be that experienced to be able to, you know, chuck a rod together and fish either.
No. No. Once again, and that's where this mechanic of being easy to survive came into it. You know, this is where the direction they were going with all these mechanics of fishing, and now all of a sudden they're taking a left turn and making the loot economy gun-wise harder.
Well, you know what I found out last night. Me and Hammy played on Unwritten for a little while, and did you know that you can literally use a screwdriver as a knife? You can cut up stuff with it. You can open canned food with it. You can get tree bark off the tree with it. I didn't even know this. I just thought it was purely to lock on the stuff on your car.
And
And
also,
obviously unlock it.
you can also use it to disarm landmines.
Oh yeah, and that too. And that's literally the only two things I thought it was ever used for. I did not know that you could use it for other things. Because I was desperate because I was literally like flashing Apple, and I was like, Hammy, I'm gonna die here. I'm literally gonna die. And she was like, no, you can do it. And I was like, I wonder if this screwdriver, oh my God, this screwdriver works. I've been carrying this potato and, kind of bloody spaghetti around for hours.
That's it. Looking for a knife. You have one in your
Looking for
back
a
pocket the whole
knife.
time.
Yeah. Well, no, I'd only just picked up the screwdriver. Because to be honest, because we were on Livonia, I was looking for stones. And by the way, there's a fucking influx of stones on Unwritten RP. Only when you're not dying of starvation and you've got everything you need.
A stock standard, 100%. It does give you less fish though, the wooden ones. It doesn't give you less fish, it gives you less of a chance but less of a fish. So the way they've rated it is lures give you the most fish for your bang with a fishing rod, and then it works it all the way down to an improvised fishing rod with a wooden hook. So, yeah, the better the thing it is. You can kill zombies with it too, sneak attack. I've got to jump on official now. I'll watch as long as I can. Enjoy the official run, Mr. Shower Gel. It's not hard anymore. It's just busy work, starting fires and fishing. Did you know you can add petrol to rag torches to double the burn time? 100%. Keep a little bottle of fuel in your back pocket. It's the best thing you can do, especially on Secure. Didn't know you could add fat to them. Yep, that's what I mean. Less of a fish. So if you're starving, that little bit of fish doesn't last long, and it doesn't. 100%. You have to sit there longer and catch. But is a lot of these mechanics that a lot of people don't know about and a lot of people run is because they haven't had the reasoning to explore it. And is that why the devs are changing the loot economy over?
It's just
Infinite wooden hooks.
it's just bizarre, isn't it?
It's
I mean, I would like different things to be in different places. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't like OP guns to be spawning on the coast. That'd be a fucking recipe for disaster. No one would go inland. But I mean, like, in
Hey,
like the
sweetie.
XML files where you've got like good stuff spawning in tier 4 and stuff like that. I'd like those to be mixed up. Like, so you wouldn't find it like say gas zones, for instance, or military. You'd find it like in an industrial, something crazy like that, somewhere you wouldn't expect it to be.
Like a
But
little
then again,
military setup that randomly appears in a warehouse, so you can't actually see. You've got to discover it.
yeah. But then I guess you can do that yourself, and if you've got your own community server,
Yeah.
if you've got the XML codes. I've been using them for years. To be way before we got editor, access to editor. I think that's literally been a blessing in disguise for up and coming people who are developing their own custom bases and custom things, custom builds. But it's also lazy because if we wanted building in, we'd have to fucking write codes
Yeah,
for
that's
hours
right.
to try and get a
Yeah, that's
building in.
it. You'd have
And
to.
people literally don't believe me when I tell them, they're like, oh, you're chatting shit, you Ponzi. And I'm like, I'm really not, honestly. I could pull some files off like one of my old computers for you if you want. Show you. And they're like, nah. So it's just crazy. Like,
Yeah, well,
I would
I'm a war editor at the moment. It fuck corrupted my file, and I had to spend 7 hours yesterday readjusting the tunnels in Flipside.
Oh, no,
10 days out from launch.
Oh,
Literally like spaghetti.
Oh,
So every tunnel piece, one was one to one side, one to the other, one to one side, one to the other, all the way down the strips. Completely fucked. Accordion the whole lot. I have to go back and reset all the POIs and everything. It's crazy. So
well, I mean, at least your stuff was still there. My fucking, it's so, like, I can't take off my PC, when it goes into sleep mode. Believe
Yep.
me, I've tried. I've been in the settings. I've screamed at it. I've talked super gently to it. I've told it I love it and everything. It won't come out to sleep mode. So now, if I hop off to the kitchen and make a drink while I'm doing something on dayZ editor, like, my PC will just go into sleep mode, and I come back, like, smash the keyboard or move the mouse around, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll wake up. I then can't use editor. It just literally freezes on me.
it freezes
So
on
I've
you.
got to, I've got to bring Task Manager up. By the way, I've been working on it for a good 3 hours solid. I've been working on
You
Sky
haven't
Island
saved it, have
3D.
you? Haven't saved it.
Oh no, I've a shite. Have I? No, I haven't. So I've just got it to our
Let Mr.
wanted it, and I've
Undergo.
even put a little place for the fucking teleporters to go in. And I come back and there was a stone in the sky. I was like, oh, fuck off. So I turned my laptop off, and I was like, I'm so angry at this.
Yeah,
I
I
get
had
some
that.
colourful abuse.
Oh, I had that. I had it crash on me after about an hour and a half
Oh,
of
man.
detailing, and I was like, fuck! I'm going to bed.
Yeah, yeah. Breaks your little heart, doesn't it?
It does. And you know what? With my current server that I've got now, I've actually changed the loot economy completely, where I've made all the high tier stuff is loaded in via JSONs. So a lot of your your M4s, DMRs, you've actually got to find them in lock crates that have actually got specific loot, or you got to go to a certain POI and get the gun itself. You can get all the
Yeah.
gun, get the attachment, and then you got to go to if you don't find the mags or the ammunition, there's other POIs. One has the mags, one has the ammunition. So it's more of a
Yeah.
fact of getting people to move around the underground system and get that going. But the ability to know that you may go there and you may not find the gun you want because somebody's already got there. The drive of trying to push people underground. First in, best dressed. So
Great ideas.
with a 2-hour restart, you've got a 2-hour window to maybe, somebody else beating you to the shooting range and having their way with the selection of guns down there.
Just better hope it takes 2 hours to get there.
Well, for some of the spots, it'll take probably longer than that. But it's just a different way. The loot economy, like I put in all the sawn off weapons in the cities, but left all the other guns specifically to police and military. So you can go and find a sawn off Mosin in a random city house, but you can only find a Mosin.
I still need to go on your server.
Oh, it's not ready yet. Wait till it opens. It's fucked at the moment. The
Oh,
fucking
right, okay.
server corrupted.
Oh,
Oh, trust me, I spent 7
Okay.
hours yesterday. I'm going to spend another fucking 12 today.
oh no. That's greedy not getting any sleep tonight, guys.
Yep, that's it. Fuck that. Own a server, they said. It'll be fun, they said. There's the Discord if you want to come and check
Teaches
it
you some
out.
good skills. Some good skills on how not to sleep. how not to
100%.
eat.
But once again, I put all the sawn off stuff in the city. So you're still going to find that, you're going to find that Mosin, but it's going to be sawn off. So you're not going to get full potential out of it. You may find a Magnum, but it's going to be sawn off. The BK, the shotguns and stuff like that, that's all sawn off, all in the cities. Whereas, all the BK stuff is mainly in the police stations and farming. So, just a different approach on how I sort of saw an expanded loot system because I basically doubled the map. Yep, that's a go. That sounds fun. Get that guaranteed loot before someone else does. I use hundreds of Jasons, loot stashes in the zone. Fuck off. You, Spaz, you run the same sort of stuff. Very silent bot said, chickens are perpetual motion. Shoot a chicken, take the feathers, make improvised belt, shoot a chicken. Facts. Facts. As long as you've got a crossbow. I do think they need to add an improvised version of that.
Or just the improvised bow. Well, that's already in the files.
The PVC bow, as they used to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even just making one out of a long stick and a rope, and have the durability absolutely dog water. So it's only going to last 10, 12 shots, and that's it. You have to make a new one.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%. Do you think that will then throw the loot economy out again? Do you think it should be all a little bit more on the improvised side and a lot less of the handing to you side?
Yeah, I think so. With the way that crafting's such a big feature in the game, why shouldn't we be able to craft a lot more weapons than what we actually have?
Yeah, I think we should be able to as well.
I agree. What about you, Undead? Would you like to craft all your weapons at the start?
I would definitely love the aspect of having a bow. Just more silent type weapons too for range. Improvised stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'd be nice to be able to find sort of gun parts riddled about, like lower receivers for certain types and shit like that.
Ooh, like the 7
Craft
days
your
to
own
die feel.
firearms. Yeah,
Yeah, 7
something
days
like
to
that.
die. Yeah, they put they got the ability to not only mix parts of the same parts together to get a better quality, but also you'll need to put those parts together to form the gun.
Well, not
Ooh.
anymore. 7 days to die is fucked now.
Is it?
No, I would
Yeah.
like the idea.
There you go.
Oh, that,
I don't know. I like the idea of being having to craft that stuff in like a lower tier. You could find the receiver and the barrel for the BK-18 and just make yourself a breech loader if needed. You know?
With a chance of it exploding on you, depending on the parts.
This firing pin is, badly damaged, but I think it'll be fine.
Boom! Or click, 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 click,
That's what
click, bang.
yeah.
that's what would actually happen is click, fuck. Click, ah. Just after every click, I'd be increasingly more angry.
Shoot! Similar to the like they have, I think it's on Ark where they have or is it Rust where they have is it Ioka? Where you're sitting there,
Rust has the okay.
yeah, the where you're sitting there trying to spark the bastard, but it's not always guaranteed to go.
Again, that's me. I can't use that gun because you'll start to hear me click it, and then I just get increasingly angry until I either die or kill the dude in front of me.
What's a good server to jump on? I want to try at the bunkers. Which bunkers do you want to try at? Sakau or Livonia? Livonia's 2160. Good luck getting to the bunker. But Livonia to actually dive into it and go a low pop temporary server, unofficial. Facts. Don't shoot on the zone. The zone has dozens of bunkers. It also has an average lifespan of 10 minutes, though.
Yep.
Facts.
I jumped in the other day, spawned in, surrounded by Zeds. So I'm like, fucked.
It's brutal. That is the opposite of PvE.
I need to try the zone.
Yeah,
I've literally
jump on there with
looked
Hammy.
at everything.
You and Hammy jump on there.
Oh, okay.
They'll be just screaming in the mic.
You should stream that
Yep.
as well,
Yeah,
shouldn't
fuck, it'd be
I?
hilarious.
Both of us will be like, ah! Like the big girls that we are.
100%. Fucking.
It is a challenge. That
Yeah,
server is
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
So
I
hard.
like a good challenge.
Yeah, it's very good. Very, very
I'll
good.
report back to you, Spaz.
And it doesn't matter whether you're a PvS or a hard, full-on PvPer. It's challenging for both. It's not scary. It's just hectic. Like you could find an M4 in a house, but you also, if you hang around that area for too long, the infected just keep coming. But that's all I'm releasing on you, because I'll let you. You can report back to us next week. All right. Go on a mission there,
Okay.
Lady Pawns with Hamster, and tell us what you think of Spaz, the
We
server,
will.
the zone.
We will.
It's like nothing else I've ever played. So
That's it. He's got his new season kicking off, so it'll be good to see. But just on a wrap up of the last hour or so, it seems that everyone's in favour of that nice little grind for dayZ and the loot economy to go to where it needs to, and positive things will happen. The new players may struggle a little bit, but I mean, some people have been, you always find out something new or something that you didn't know, even years after you start playing this game. So I'm not sure it goes down to you should know everything.
Yeah, like me with the screwdriver. Only
Yeah.
been playing this game nearly 7 years.
Well, that's like when I found out. I knew you could do petrol and rags, but I'd never forget finding out you could do fat. I was stoked
Yeah, you
the
can do
first time.
fast. I didn't know about petrol.
Yeah, petrol with rags on a torch will expand it out to its maximum bar.
No way.
Yep, the only one I can't work out is how to get a maximum fire. I don't know what else to add to it to be able to get max. I can get it pretty much 3/4. So you can fill it with all the sticks, all the things, the bark, what do you call it? I do think it's like the tripod and stuff like that, or it's got to do with the oven.
Stones.
Yeah, stones in the oven. But to actually get the bar to have a full heat, a full usage amount, yeah, still haven't worked that one out. Okay, fair. Mission Girls, yeah, love to see it. Any business from the co-host? Anyone want to drop any biz?
Nope.
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 What about nope.
from found my new favourite server for the next week or two, I'd say. Plus.
One to try.
ABC. Hell yeah. Good server. If you can get it, it's constantly high.
Yeah, even one for you, Mr. Undead. Plus, plus, plus. Heavily
Yeah, the
faction, heavily
is
PvP.
insane.
It is fucking crazy. 70 plus. Max right out. Definitely a great run. That's your quest for this week. Get a fireplace full. Ooh. Yeah, plus, plus, plus. It's by dayZ ABC. Been around for years. One of the first multi-servers on my Discord. The Buzzman, Buzzman I've known for a long, long time. Been trying to get him on the show. He's Polish, so his English is very, very, very bad, and he's like Noah used to be, very shy about using it. I've tried a few times to try and organise even his admin, who I think is Australian, to come on and have a run, but time zones don't line up too well with family and work. So I would love to get him on there. They run 70 pop Chinaris, Livonia, and a 50 pot Sakal in Europe. Plus, plus, plus. Or they have A, B, and C, I think. But just crazy.
And you know, it's actually really hard to find a community server because if you put plus 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 in the search bar, you won't find it. You have to have a clear search bar and then look down for plus 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 on the first page.
Yep. So they're all plus plus plus. They've got the Chinaris Xbox, Chinaris PlayStation, Livonia Xbox, and Sakal Xbox. I think they're wiping soon too. Server wipe. Oh, it's already happened. After 8 months, they finally wiped. Chinaris is 70 slot, Livonia is 70 slot, and Sakal is 50. They do raid weekends, raid damage remaining AWOL. No, it's for the purge. But yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
Mr. Busman.
raid weekends, Saturday, Sunday, the 8 p.m. CET. So it works out about 5 hours ago. Raid weekend started there. Bases everywhere. It's insane.
And super community. I would love to get him on the show, Spaz, 100%, just to find out, how he started, how he keeps it going. He runs a very smooth ship over there. There's no bullshit. There's about 2,500 people in his Discord. And he's a very, very nice fella, an absolute nice fella. When I've spoken to him, he is very rough on the English, but I'm Australian. I'm rough on the English. There's not much difference. But yeah, that's all I've got to run through. Hopefully by next week I'll be releasing the preview for the launch of Flipside. The Underdark mod should be complete if I don't smash my blow up my computer. It sounded like it was yesterday. I was getting 1 frame per minute.
Oh no!
Fucking, it was bad. I actually had to. I actually stopped for like 2 or 3 hours and played 1 block Skyblock with Queenie on Minecraft because my computer had basically locked and I hadn't saved it. So I just let it do its thing. So we were just playing. She just got 1 block Skyblock for Minecraft. I'm like, oh yeah, let's get in there and have a play. Fuck, we had some fun on that. That was funny as fuck. Hearing my wife scream and getting fucking knocked off the place. The only time I ever wanted to get a camera out and film my missus playing. Nine Tails. Well, you catch it live, but we are pretty much wrapping it up. we're going to end today's show with a little 2-on-2 event. Usually the peasant doesn't get involved.
Oh, 2-on-2.
Yep. It's going to be me and the Gimp versus Undead and Lady Ponce.
Oh. Fuck.
Yep. I hear.
I won't fall off this time.
That's it.
In fact, yeah, if you want to fall off, you can.
I'll be sure to
then
put
we've
you
only
out
got
real quick
greedy.
then.
So yeah, you good strategy. So Undead, you kick Hugh's ass, and I'll go for the peasants.
Oh. Wait, only one rule: 357 only. Little homage to bring it back.
No.
357.
Split
No.
guns.
Yep.
Gotta
But
split
That's
the
all right.
guns.
I think there's only
All right, it's all right, greedy.
they
I've
made-
already
There's two,
sniped you
all
once
right.
with
Yeah.
a revolver.
yeah, I think there's
Woohoo!
two. There's
Take your pick, Ponce.
I'll take the repeater.
Hey,
You can be
your
revolver
pick.
savvy.
Oh, no! Don't take both sets of bullets. I need bullets.
see. Well, I'll tell you what, here, I'll have 10.
Give him 10.
Oh, what?
I'm joking. There you go, they should understand.
Yeah, Experimental's got a new loot system rolling
I
I
on.
know, I'm a bitch.
Um,
But I'm your
No, you're
favourite
wrong.
bitch. Woo!
where they've sort of slightly changed it to be a bit more of a grind. So we're just discussing that and who will win.
All right, Greedy, we're ready.
Alright, so that's Ponce and Undead.
Ah.
And
Greedy,
Q
Q.
and Greedy. Oh,
Hello?
sorry.
Ready?
I was putting the submissions in for people want to bet. You got 30
Oh, right,
seconds to
okay.
lay your bet. So Ponce and Undead versus Q and myself. Who will win? Put your money down if you wish to. That outfit is sick, isn't it? This is, as I said, Mr. Q is or was dressed by Noah DeKeck, the famous designer of terrible outfits.
Yep. He actually did pretty well this week.
He did
Give him
well.
that. At least he didn't maybe look too bad.
All right.
I don't have much money left to bet, Greedy, because I keep losing it.
Keep losing. Don't
every
worry.
week.
Bet,
So,
on,
let's,
bet on them.
Let's not lose it this time.
Bet on them. And we'll both jump off.
Maybe quit betting on yourself.
Oh, rough.
Never.
All
Oh,
right,
God damn.
Lady Ponce, you can call the start. 3, 2, 1, go. We may not see the outcome, but we will find out the outcome. We'll come back if we die. We're ready to go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, that hurt.
Ponce, look out! He's got a fucking beat on you.
That's it. We took our pods.
Cheating little swine.
Ow.
You said 352, 357.
I tried to warn you.
That's all I got. I got the repeater carbine.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, I think that's dead. Pod's dead.
Ow!
Ah! Waiting for the rush. I'm waiting for the rush. He took my gun. No! You can't! I'll beat you to death! I don't care if I have to beat you to death! Shit, gotta get back now. We have to find out who is the last dance. But we have to go take a secret way. Give me a sec. Oh. Look at that. Oh. We'll skip in. Because my lobby's too hectic. Just give me 1 sec. Because it's a little hidden spot. We don't need people crashing the fucking server. Oof. All right, who was victorious? Who won?
Motherfucker.
Who
Had to
won?
beat his ass to death.
You had to beat him.
I ran out of bullets.
Look how fucked up you are.
I
God
ran
damn
out
it.
of bullets.
God damn it, they fucking won again.
I ran out of bullets. My God, I stand up because I shot you. I woke up a moment later because we traded. We both woke up. I grabbed the fucking revolver, shot him once, and then click, click, click. Held Y, and nothing happened. Went shit. He came around the corner with his gun drawn, shot me in the chest again. I just dropped mine and beat him.
No, I don't know if Undead has lost. Have you lost Undead yet? Are you still reigning champion?
I lost one.
That's it.
I think it's only been one though.
It's only been one. Yes, it's definitely going well. But there you go. Big payout to Lady Ponce and Ninetales. Get the big fat payout. Always back on Undead. He's going to shame himself here. Don't you dare shame yourself, Q.
I got one round. Bitch.
He's going to go again. Oh.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I did.
Must be love, that's the feeling. Oh, you could have at least shot me.
Oh, I ran out of bullets.
He ran out of bullets. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a podcast done and dusted for the week. We'd like to thank you all for joining us. A big shout out to Undead and Lady Punch for winning the end of run. Mr. Q is out. We are pulling up for today. Mr. Peasant's got a bit of coding to do for his server. So we will be back tomorrow for a run. Not sure if we're going to hit dark or we're going to jump onto another server. But yes, a big shout out to Undead and to Lady Ponce, the winners. We'd like to thank you all for joining us for the Peasants Podcast. We are here every week. Stay tuned. And if you'd like to see someone on the show or know someone who'd like to be on the show, definitely hit us up on the Discord, crack us out of DMs, tell us a little about who you are. But apart from that, have an absolutely fantastic weekend.